6 races before the playoffs. That's it. That's how much time NASCAR is giving its drivers to adjust to a completely different car. Because on Wednesday, the sanctioning body dropped a rule change so drastic, it's going to alter the way Daytona is raced forever, starting with the very last regular season race of the year. This isn't a tweak. This is NASCAR ripping up the Superspeedway playbook and daring the field to keep up. Here's the breakdown. NASCAR is rolling out a brand new Superspeedway package. It is making its debut at the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona on August 29th. The rear spoiler is getting chopped from 7 inches down to 4. It's the same spoiler height used on intermediate tracks like Kansas or Charlotte. To offset that loss downforce, horsepower is dropping too, from 510 down to 465. NASCAR's own projections say single car speeds should climb by roughly 3 miles an hour, while pack speeds stay about the same. Translation, cars go faster alone, but the pack doesn't turn into a rocket ship. That's intentional. For years, superspeedway racing at Daytona and Talladega has developed a reputation, and not always a good one. Fans call it fuel mileage chess. Drivers ride around, save gas, save tires, and wait to make one move in the final 10 laps. It's calculated, it's smart, and for a lot of fans, it's boring. NASCAR knows it. That's why they built a working group to fix it, and the names involved tell you how seriously they're taking this. 3-time Daytona 500 champion Denny Hamlin was in the room. So was NASCAR's event management president John Prost, along with veteran crew chief Steve Latarte. This wasn't some executive memo handed down from a boardroom. This came from people who have actually stood on pit road and watched fuel-saving strategy suck the drama out of these races. And the timing is no accident. This new package debuts in the final regular season race, the exact moment the sport needs peak entertainment, because the 16-driver playoff field gets locked in right after the checkered flag falls. Let's get into why this actually matters competitively, not just cosmetically. Right now, drag is the defining factor at Daytona and Talladega. The current package creates so much aerodynamic drag that once a driver gets to the front, he's essentially untouchable. The leader ends up moving at what amounts to top speed for the whole pack, making it easy to close the gap but almost impossible to actually complete a pass. That's the core problem NASCAR is targeting, not speed, passing. By trimming the spoiler and cutting horsepower simultaneously, engineers are trying to create a car that's more sensitive to handling and grip and less dependent on brute aerodynamic push. According to Hamlin, the model they're chasing isn't some radical new concept, it's Atlanta. Because of how Atlanta's surface and banking naturally spread the field out, drivers there are forced into constant offense instead of fuel-saving formation racing. If NASCAR can recreate even a fraction of that dynamic at a superspeedway, it changes strategy at the deepest level. Crew chiefs won't be able to lean on the fuel window as a fallback plan. Drivers will be pushed to race hard from lap 1 because riding around and conserving simply won't be the safe play anymore. Now here's the risk. Superspeedway racing is already the most unpredictable, high-rec style in the sport. Reducing drag and increasing single car speed, even by a small margin, adds energy to the equation. More aggressive racing plus higher closing speeds is a formula that can absolutely produce more chaos, and not the good kind. NASCAR is betting that better racing outweighs that risk. That's a bet with real consequences if it goes wrong in front of a playoff elimination atmosphere. There's also a pressure test element here. NASCAR isn't debuting this at a random mid-season event. They're debuting it at the last race before the playoff field is set, which means every team still fighting for a playoff spot has to adapt to a brand new car with almost no practice runway. That's a massive variable to introduce this late in the year. Expect a split reaction here. One side of the fan base is going to love this. They've been begging NASCAR for years to kill fuel mileage racing at superspeedways, and this is the boldest attempt yet. The other side is going to point out the timing. Changing a fundamental part of the car's 6 races before the playoffs is a gamble, and if it produces a chaotic, wreck-heavy race that eliminates a playoff contender through no fault of their own, the criticism is going to be loud. Analysts are likely to frame this as either a genius mid-season correction or a reckless roll of the dice, depending on how that first race plays out. Best case scenario, the new package works almost exactly as designed. Drivers race hard the entire race, fuel saving disappears, the racing looks more like Atlanta than the old pack-style Daytona show, and NASCAR immediately signals that this becomes the new standard for both Daytona and Talladega going into next season. Worst case scenario, the reduced drag creates unpredictable runs in the draft, leads to a chain reaction wreck that takes out multiple playoff hopefuls. And NASCAR is forced to defend introducing an untested package at the worst possible moment of the year. Either way, August 29th just became one of the most important non-playoff races on the entire calendar. So here's the real question. Is this NASCAR finally fixing a problem that's plagued superspeedway racing for years? Or is this a risky experiment dropped in at the worst possible time? Drop your prediction in the comments. Genius move or reckless gamble? And if you want the real breakdown before every playoff race this season, make sure you subscribe because we're just getting started.